Hello, my creative friends. Welcome to my channel. I'm Jessica Sanders. I'm so happy you're here with me. So today I would like to chat with you about the upcoming World Watercolor Month. I am super excited. I missed it last year and I want to be sure and get involved this year. So I've been working on my plan and thinking about what I wanted to do, and I think I've come up with a good idea that will be fun and doable for the project. So in getting ready for World Watercolor Month, I printed out their official prompt list. This is hosted by Doodle Wash, and they have all kinds of art challenges over the year, but they have World Watercolor Month is an actual official thing, and it's pretty cool. I'm not one of the ambassadors or hosts or anything. I just want to participate, and I thought you might like to join in too. So I've been working on my plan to get that together. Now they do have 31 watercolors in 31 days. It's like the idea is to have fun, no pressure. If you can't paint 31 watercolors, maybe you will show progress in, however many watercolor paintings you can paint, and share with World Watercolor Month, the hashtag World Watercolor Month. If you want me to see your projects, you can use the hashtag JSA Skillshare, because I'm actually working with my Skillshare students to do a World Watercolor Month challenge. So that's going to be a lot of fun for me. And of course, I invite you to come along with the journey, because I want all of you guys, I want all of us to share watercolor together. Okay, so I've been working on a plan, as I said. So I've set up a project tracker, because knowing me and how I work, my projects will slip away if I don't have something to remind me. So my project tracker reminds me. My Skillshare channel, I have a new class called Project Planning for Creatives, Getting Things Done with Less Stress and More Joy. And part of that class, we make a project tracker, and I'm using World Watercolor Month as an example project for that class. And so I've already been planning and filled out my project tracker. This will help me to stay on track. It will help me to remember, oh, it's World Watercolor Month. Yes, it may be the 4th of July, but it's World Watercolor Month. Okay, so lots of things are going on in our lives, so it's good to keep track of things. So this is one of the tools I have in that class, and I use it myself, which is why I was sharing it. So back to World Watercolor Month. Sorry about that. 31 days, my plan, 31 days of fresh watercolor joy. But I'm allowing myself to not do 7 paintings per week, but to do 5. That would be 23 paintings. I'm going to use the prompt list, and I'm also going to use Pinterest for my inspiration. Sometimes the prompts don't really speak to me, and so I want to have that flexibility to do something different if I want to. I am planning on sharing with hashtag World Watercolor Month, and I didn't write this down here, but also I will be using hashtag JSA Skillshare. I am sorry about the crackling. I have a new cover on my table, and I'm struggling with the crackling, and I don't know how much that picks up on camera, but it sounds pretty loud right now. I'm going to have to take it off and do something different. Okay, but I digress. So I'm going to be sharing with hashtag World Watercolor Month and hashtag JSA Skillshare. Like I said, if you want me to see your watercolors, and I would love to see them, then please use this hashtag. It's a new hashtag. There aren't very many posts on it yet, but eventually we'll get there. I wanted to remember that for me, the World Watercolor Month should be a stress-free process of painting. I should consider it practice, and that bad painting is okay. Because if I'm going to be painting daily or almost daily, there are sure to be bad paintings in there. There's just no way to get everything perfect, and I can't always redo the painting just because it turns out, quote, bad. And bad is a very relative term, right? Because we're our own worst critics. So the dates are July 1st through the 31st, 2019. And I basically just used that to make this sort of like a calendar. And I made these numbers smaller because I'm not requiring myself to paint for those 2 days a week. But I want to make sure that I do it Monday through Friday. And then I have celebrate at the end of the week, because we should always be celebrating our wins, and a little box to write any notes that I want. Okay, so on with my plan. The main idea behind my project for World Watercolor Month is 31 days of fresh watercolor joy. That's the main idea. I love this idea of fresh watercolor, but I was really reminded of it recently. I just took a class with the amazing Dina Wakely, and we made this beautiful page with scribble sticks and stamps, but it looks so fresh and vibrant and juicy. And it's made with scribble sticks, so I may end up using scribble sticks some in this month because they're just pigment sticks and they're water soluble. Okay, but I digress. That's a totally different video, which I'll be sharing with you soon. But I had a great time in Dina's class, and this reminded me of how much I love just minimal, fresh watercolor, and just to see the pigments and how they move and interact and things like that. And so I decided this would be my inspiration. I'll talk more about that in a minute, but right now I just wanted to share with you my supplies. So I have this beautiful Grumbacher watercolor sketchbook that I found on Amazon, and I can leave the link for that below if you're interested. And it has remove and replace sheets. So that means that you can just pull these out. You can take them out, use them, and then you can put them back in. Now, Joggles also has that kind of paper pads, but they didn't have this size. Otherwise, I might have gotten it from Joggles, but I wanted to try this paper. I haven't used the Grumbacher paper before, although I do love their acrylic paints. But this is a watercolor challenge, and this is watercolor paper, so it's completely different. But this has 30 sheets, so it's plenty of sheets to do my entire project in one book. That's my paper. Oh, and I guess I should say it is 140-pound cold press paper. We'll find out how that acts along the way. I have not constrained my paint use, so I will use any paints that I want to basically that day. So I have my Mission Gold palette, which has all of these amazing, beautiful colors, and you can see I love this one especially. It's out, and I've already refilled it, and it's out again, so I may have to do some refills along the way. But there's my Mission Gold watercolors that I will be using for sure. Probably for the most part I'll be using these, but I also have some special paints that were basically gifted to me by my family, and this is my Daniel Smith and Mission Gold Blues palette. Now I do have a few other colors besides blue here. I have basically the primary palette of the Pyro Red, the yellow, and the Ultramarine Blue, and then I have a Mayan Violet, an Aussie Red Gold, which I love, and a Hematite, which is one of the Primatech made from actual hematite. I love that. And I consider this one of the blues, the Sleeping Beauty Turquoise. So these are all Daniel Smith up to this point. And then, oh, this is also Daniel Smith. And then these are Mission Gold. And this color is the same one in my other palette that I've used all of it. I have it in the tube though, so I can refill. So I may use this beautiful Daniel Smith. I hope I didn't blind you. My gosh. And then I did it again to show you that I blinded you. So this is my beautiful Daniel Smith Blues palette with a little extra thrown in. And then I also have my other paints. I love all of these paints. I love them all, and I have different colors in all of them. So this is my M. Graham paint. And I have two palettes in here from M. Graham, and they are the Marinescape set and the quinacridone set. So I have the Marinescape colors and the quinacridone colors. Let me see, let me turn this around. So this is Marinescape, and these are the Quin colors. So we have 5 colors per palette. These come in sets on Amazon. They're pretty cool. I've got one more set that I haven't tried out yet. Okay, so I may also use these. So I'm just using a variety of paints. Whatever speaks to me that day, that's what I'm going to use. I want that creative freedom to just paint what I feel is good for that day. So I said I would talk a little bit more about fresh watercolor because I have this idea of what fresh watercolor is, but it's like if you just like say Google fresh watercolor, it's not very clear what that is. So I thought, well, I'll just share what fresh watercolor means to me, and maybe in the comments below you can tell me what you feel is fresh watercolor. There are two watercolor artists that I feel do an amazing job with fresh watercolor, and I'm not comparing myself to them. I'm not on their level, but I love their books and reading their books and seeing their paintings, and the watercolor feels fresh and vibrant and not overworked. There's not too much detail. And so I think that Jean Haines is a great example, and Hazel Soan is also a great example. And I have several books from both of these ladies, and I love them both. So I thought I would share with you a couple of pages in here that what I consider to be fresh watercolor. If you just look at this cover, this looks like fresh watercolor to me. It's nice, it's flowing, not too much detail, yet you can tell, you know, it's a bird. And then I have another example here. So this puffin that Jean painted is beautiful. It has minimal detail, and yet you can still tell it's a puffin. It looks really pretty and just fresh and vibrant to me. Now, sometimes Jean Haines paintings I feel could use a little bit more detail. But that's just my personal preference. And, you know, everyone loves Jean Haines, and I do too. Sometimes I feel like if it were me painting it, I would add a little bit more detail maybe. But, I mean, who am I to question her? This is her painting, and it's amazing. And I'm not trying to do that at all. I just want to say that my style is a little bit different from Jean Haines, and that I might include a little bit more detail than she does in her painting. But I do love the freshness and the vibrancy of her work. So that is this book called World of Watercolor. I love all of Jean Haines' books. I have almost all of them. Now, Hazel Soan, another amazing artist. Quite different, I feel, than Jean Haines, yet she does beautiful, fresh watercolor. Again, I have crinkles. So I've marked a couple of pages in here that I thought showed some really fresh watercolor. Now she has, to me, seems to have a little bit more detail. I love how she has this mix and blend of flowing color, and I think that's beautiful and fresh. And this was also, I felt like, really, really pretty, very minimal, beautiful, and colorful, and conveys an atmosphere and a message. And so these two ladies are kind of my inspiration, along with the Dina Wakley, but I'll still be, you know, doing my own thing, because what else can we do except what we do, right? At least that's the way I feel. So I have a few examples for you of my own fresh watercolor. And I wasn't thinking of it as being fresh at the time that I painted these. I just wanted it to be like a minimum number of brush strokes, very loose, very flowy, and not too much detail. And I really love how these turned out. Now, I have several that I've tried and they didn't turn out so good. So don't think that I get them right every time. I definitely don't. And you may not even like this style, but this is just what I like. And I love this pops of color that this has in it, and it feels fresh and vibrant. And I think I did this in one wash, maybe two. So beautiful. So here's another fresh. This one's sort of unfinished, but I love the depth of color and the light of color. So there's that range of deep and dark all the way to very light, And I think that's really pretty, and I want that kind of contrast, but I also want it to be fresh looking. So here's a little goose swan painting. I think this was a goose. I'm pretty sure this was a goose. This was about a 10 to 15 minute painting, and I did this pretty much all in one go, and I love the way it looks. It looks like a goose. It has nice vibrant colors, and it's loose and light and flowing. So this was actually a lot of fun to paint, and it really didn't take very long. And you know, it's not perfect, but I love it anyway. This was also painted from a reference. Now, if we go back to the Dina Wakley inspiration, I just had the class with her. I just love it. It's just so nice to see her work and her abstract style. Okay, again, that's a different video. But it did inspire me to try some loose, fresh watercolor faces. I have a whole stack of them. Again, that's another class. Not another class. Again, that's another video, but I just wanted to share some of my favorites. This has 2 layers on it, and I love how it turned out. And I'm also using it on this paper is by Genuine Crafts, and I have also a video about this paper and a story about that. So I have some really fun upcoming things and World Watercolor Month, and I'm not sure how I'm going to put it all together, but anyway, I hope you'll come watch those videos. Very, very loose, very sketchy, and just a couple of layers, yet it conveys, you know, it conveys what it is. This is a female portrait, right? And I feel that it has some emotion to it, which I love. Here's another one that I feel it's not quite as fresh as this one feels to me. This one has a little bit more work, and actually I did a drawing first. This is without a drawing. This is just practicing proportions, basically, of whimsical kind of faces, but with the smaller eyes, you can see. And this one I drew first, so it has some pencil lines, which I really love the pencil lines. I found that I really like this less detail in the eye for this type of painting than I like here. And I'm not sure if it's because there's just not as much shading in the eyes here, so they feel like they're a little bit too, the whites are a little bit too bright, that sort of thing. And that would be easy to fix, but I like seeing these lines, and this has a few more layers than this one. You can tell there's more detail in the nose, the lips, the eyes, and even more detail in the hair than this one. So anything in this range, though, I like, and I will be trying to incorporate this type of thing in my World Watercolor Month watercolor sketches. So I would like to invite you to join me and many other watercolor artists for World Watercolor Month. Again, share with the hashtag share with the hashtag World Watercolor Month and hashtag JSA Skillshare, because I want to see what you're doing, and your plan may be completely different from my plan, and that's fine. That's perfect. I still would love to see it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this little World Watercolor Month introduction and plan that I have going on. I'll be sharing some videos of World Watercolor Month, although I may not be sharing every painting. Some of the paintings I may end up doing without recording. That's a no-no, I know, but that's maybe what I do. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye. Oh, don't forget to like, and if you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button and click the bell so that you can be notified of all my new videos. Like I said, I have some fun stuff coming up. It was fun for me, and I think you'll enjoy it too. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye.